This is the water room. So this valve here, this shuts off the water for the whole entire building. That'll shut off domestic, fire, everything. This is our backflow valve. This will shut water off to the sprinkler system, and this will do the same thing. So basically this shuts off all the water to the sprinkler system, and so does that one. That valve will do the same, shuts off water for the whole building. Yeah, I don't know if they have to test it annually or if it's every like 5 years or not. Yeah, that's it for here. Okay, and then just right up here, that's a control valve. So that'll shut off water. We have a standpipe in the west stairwell. That'll control the water to that standpipe out there. Yeah, that's a sprinkler valve there. So that one shuts off water that goes into that stairwell. So if they need to do any work on that one, they can close this valve and then they can drain it down through a hose valve in the stairwell. But that's just a shut off valve for that stairwell, the west stairwell. It has a sign on it, west stair. Okay. So all the signs should have what it controls right on it. And then there's another one just on the other side of the wall here. And we have another shut off valve right here as well. It's the same thing. That one isolates the east stairwell. Yeah. So the one there, yeah, the one in the mailroom, west, this one will be east. It's got the sign on it too. It always tells you what it, yeah, and all these valves got to stay open at all times. If anything does get closed, it'll show up on the panel right away. It'll say east stair tamper, and then you'll be able to find it here. They're pretty high up out of reach, so no one should be able to really get at them anyway. Okay, that's it for here, and then the rest is pretty much in the pump room after that. Okay, we'll just start it off the beginning. This valve here is your shut-off valve for the fire pump. That'll isolate the fire pump. It's got to, like everything else, stay open at all times. These here bypass, that'll bypass the fire pump. If that does get shut down for any reason, you will still have water going to the system, but it'll be limited. So this is very important. That stays open at all times. If they are doing some work on the pump itself, they'll have something put in place. The jockey will keep pressure in the system at all times, but yeah, it's really important. This guy stays open at all times. And then same thing with all these valves after. This is the only valve. There's 2 of these in the whole building that are closed. There's the only 2 valves that stay closed at all times. And they got signs on them, do not open. Everything else got a do not close sign. These ones got do not open, because this will put water out to the test header, and then that'll be subject to freezing. So if when they do the flow tests, they'll drain that all off, so it all stays empty afterwards. So yeah, that'll be closed. Everything else open. This is a main floor shut-off valve. It's got the sign on it here. That'll shut off all the water to the main floor sprinklers and the CRUs, and it also controls the dry pipe that goes in the parking garage. So if you need to isolate the dry pipe parking garage itself, you can isolate it here. It's got the sign on it, dry system, main floor. But the water is also fed from this valve too. So this valve shut off the main floor. This is controlling the main riser. So those 2 control valves I showed you in the electrical room and in the mail room is fed by this. So you can isolate the 2 risers from those valves. And if they have to drain down the whole riser itself, they'd be draining down through here. Yeah, so this is basically the main, except for the main floor, this feeds the second floor all the way up to the rest of the building. Yeah, if they need to drain down the riser, they'll be doing it from here, yeah. Drain valve over here. This is the dry pipe valve. This feeds the 12 heads on the patio on the second floor. This one runs up through the electrical room up to the second floor. That's what this one feeds. It's got its sign on it too. It's got the right signs on it. That's pretty much it for all these here. And then right behind you is fire pump controller. So nothing really to do with that. This thing just do not ever touch. If the fire pump does go on, it's got to be shut off by fire department personnel. Yeah. So and if sprinkler does go off for any reason, someone breaks, whatever, this will go on in like 10 seconds. It'll happen pretty quick. Oh. So, but that's pretty much it. Like all the valve locations I've showed you, everything has to stay open at all times. And yeah, it should only be touched by someone from the fire department. The fire pump does go on. Say if there's something that happens and you guys stop the water flow, the fire pump will continue to run and it's not going to do any damage. It'll be relieved. Get relieved through here. So if the fire pump's running and someone closes the drain or something, this will keep going. It's not going to hurt it. So there's something built into this, so it'll never hurt it. But that's pretty much it. The floor control assembly, I can show you just one of those on second. what you see on 2, it's going to be the same thing all the way up. So we can go look at the second floor. I can show you one of those. But all your main control shutoffs are for the main floor, and the dry pipe valves, fire pump are all in here. And then every floor has its own shutoff valve. So if you close this valve right here, that'll shut off water to the whole riser going up. So they got to isolate on each floor. We can go look at those valves right now. So we'll go look up at second floor. So this will go for this dry pipe valve and that dry pipe valve behind you. You can see all the piping that connects the two, yeah. Yeah, so that'll kick on if it needs to add a little bit of pressure to the system, temperature fluctuations sometimes. It'll kick on every once in a while, but yeah, everything's sitting at good pressure right now. Oh, out of the tank itself? Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's part of the service. Yeah, no, that'll be. I'm not too sure what's annually, what's quarterly or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it for here. It's this low point for the dry system. Anytime we have to come down and trap water with the dry system, we have to have one of these. So there's 2 heads in the bottom of the stairwell. So the only way to feed them was to come down here and then rise up through the stairwell. So we created a low point here. So we're in a warm area, usually dry system in the cold area. Warm and cold, you'll get condensation built up in here. Probably won't be the case in here because it'll stay pretty warm most of the time. If the dry system ever trips, if a head goes off, it's going to fill the whole system with water. This will get filled up. So once they put the system back in service, they'll just have to come here, work the 2 valves, drain the water off. Yeah, and this can be drained off while the system is in service. Like they can shut this valve, they can open up that one, slowly take the water out. But for the main thing, like if the system does go off, this will get filled with water, and then they'll have to drain it off. Yeah. So that's just because it allows us to, like I said, you can do it while the system's in use. Like you don't have to shut the system off. They can close this valve, open this one out, take out all the water, close it off again, open this one back up, because that'll only let a little bit of air pressure in, and not enough to trip the valve. So they could slowly just work the 2 valves and get the water out. Most of the time, they'll probably just shut the system down, close the valve, leave the compressor on, and then do it, just so there's no risk of tripping the system. But yeah, that's just an auxiliary drain that's needed by code every time you do that with the dry system. Everything on a dry system is supposed to drain back to the valve. So that's the only one of these in the building. That's it. Go up to second floor. Okay, this is one of our floor control valves. This allows you to isolate each floor individually. So if they're doing work on the 6th floor, they can close this valve, do their work, refill it from here. So there's one of these on each floor, control valve, the big red handled one, and then the drain valve is just a small ball valve in the back. So there's one of these on every floor in this exact location, all the way up to the penthouse. And they pretty much, yeah, they all look the same as this, just on the 2nd floor and up, they just get a little bit smaller piping wise. But that's your isolation valve for each floor. One on each floor. That's the control valve, and then that's the drain there, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm not allowed to authorize anything, but I show you the locations and where the valves are. Yeah, except for the dry system on the patio and then the parking garage. Yeah, compressor in there and down in the pump room, we just saw it. And everything else after that is, yeah, it's all wet. So make sure to keep the heat on, any cold areas. Because, yeah, any freeze-ups, if something does go, the fire pump will kick on, 500 gallons a minute. It puts out quite a bit of water. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. All the main control valves in the pump room, that water room. And then you got your isolation valves for the standpipes. One of these setups per floor all the way up. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, this will be the feed here, and this will just be the drain. Yeah, we got to put in a bigger size drain for these buildings because they will test these. I think these are 5-year. Yeah. I'm not 100% on the times for the testings. Yeah. Yeah, so they'll just hook up. They have some kind of device that hooks up to here, meters all the flow, and then they just pop off the caps and use them there. Those are for testing them. So they're pressure reducing valves. So when they get the valves all set to what they're supposed to be, I think they have a couple meters that go in here. It'll measure the inlet pressure and it'll measure the outlet pressure. Okay. So I think when they come to do the tests, this should actually only shut off till about here, but they're able to pull these off, and I think they hook up their little meter just to confirm that the valves are still doing what they're supposed to be doing. But yeah, that's something that I don't touch. They get them all dialed in at their factory. The top one will close it, yeah, that'll shut the water off. And then the bottom one will drain it.
Okay,
It's a three-way valve, so if you go down to the middle, it puts it in a test. So inside that valve, there's a restricted orifice. It basically simulates a sprinkler head. So when you go to the halfway part, it's in test, kind of simulates a sprinkler head going off, and then when it's all the way, then it's full drain.
Oh.
We use that test simulated sprinkler head to go for our run times because we got to test the flow, and the best way to do that is to simulate like a sprinkler head going off in the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that's confusing too. Dom's probably thinking the same thing, like the ball valve looks open right now, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. One of these setups all the way. This one here, it doesn't have a tamper installed on it, but if someone does open up a hose valve, it's gonna get the fire pump going, and it'll tell that the main flow is going. If they got a main flow at the panel and there's no other floor going off, that'll tell the fire panel or the fire department that it's just in the riser somewhere. But if they get a combination of the main flow and the third floor flow, they'll go up to 3 because they'll know where the water's flowing. But if they just get a main flow, it could just be any one of these hose valves going up. So that's pretty well it for my end. Just shut off valves and drains. Keep them all open and make sure the building stays warm. That's about it.